Roger Bland with ATRA and Gears Magazine. Welcome to this session of the What's Working training series, part of the virtual training system powered by ATRA. You know, the essence of What's Working had one goal in mind back in 2006, and that was take the best practices of our industry today and share it with as many people as possible. In essence, it's the extension of ATRA. All the way back in 1954, when a small group of technicians got together to share information, that was the essence and the beginnings of the association. Today, ATRA is the oldest and largest trade association serving the needs of the transmission rebuild industry. And we didn't get here by ourselves. Each and every one of you watching this right now got help from a mentor, a coach, a parent. Somebody helped you get here. And that's why before we move on with our training, I want to take time out and thank the pioneers, the trainers of our industries. These are guys that took time to figure out what they did right, what they did wrong, and share it with us. Guys like the late Mike Lee, Bob Cooper, Terry Greenhut, Tom Cheddar, and many, many more. You see, these guys had one thing in common. They were practitioners. They were shop owners themselves. They understood what the needs and the challenges you guys would face, and they shared it. That's what What's Working is all about too, taking best practices and sharing that information. There's one other group I'd like to thank before we move on to our training, and that's what I call the first responders, that group of individuals, those shop owners who responded to our very first survey in the What's Working study, all the way back to 2006. It was a big ask, 69 questions, a 4-part survey, and it wasn't anonymous. We needed to contact them after, so they had to put down their name and contact information. We couldn't have gotten here today without their help. And not just the guys that had great news to report. It's easy to say when everything's going okay, but a lot more difficult when things aren't going well or you don't have the answers. So thanks to everybody, especially those first responders. Now let's get going.
The series is called the Service Writers Workshop, and today's is the first in the series. Today's is called Getting Your Company, Your Team, and Yourself Ready for Greatness. But first, let's take a look ahead and see what other seminars are on the horizon. The next one in the series is called Ring Ring How Much. It teaches you how to convert the telephone shoppers that you get into appointments. It has some great techniques and skills that will help you to do this quickly and effectively. The third in the series is our sales skills workshop, and it covers everything from greeting the customer when they walk in the door all the way through selling the job. The last in the series has to do with, well, we might call it your housekeeping details. How to keep good records, how to handle a good car delivery so the customer leaves and is happy, what you do on the post-service follow-ups, how to keep in touch with the customer, keep them coming back, and properly handling comebacks and irate customers. The bottom line to that is how to create customers for life. Let's get back to today's session, getting your company, your team, and yourself ready for greatness. Here's a preview of what we're going to be talking about today. First, what separates good companies from great companies? Second, what separates good teams from great teams? Frankly, you could be the best service writer in the world, and if you're not with a good company, supported by a great team, you're still not going to be as successful as you could be. How do customers feel about car repairs? Knowing how they feel will help us do a better job of meeting their needs. What's the purpose of our service and sales procedural system? If we know why we're doing things, we'll do a better job. How will our service sales system affect our customers' feelings and make it easier for them to buy? I mean, after all, if our procedures get in the way, they're going to kind of be at cross purposes with what we want to accomplish, which is making it easy for our customers to buy. And what are the steps in the service sales system, and why do they work? First of all, in business, anybody can copy the big things. We're looking at how do we make our company different. The little things are really what makes the difference between a good company, a better company, and the best companies out there. The companies that do the little things well will actually stand out better from the rest of the companies they're competing with. The big things, in essence, define what business we're in. We're in the auto repair business. We're in the transmission business. We're in the, it could be any business. I mean, it could be in the cabinet making business for all that matters. But the point is that the big things we do, we make cabinets, we fix cars, we fix transmissions. That's what defines the business we're in. It's the little things, or what I call the defining moments, that actually separate us from our competition. How we handle defining moments will define how we're perceived by our customers. They're seeing the little things. They're already expecting us to do the big things well. I brought my car in because I wanted my transmission fixed. Well, they fixed the transmission. But what did they do in the little things that occurred during that process? If we can become great at doing the little things, we'll blow our competition away. And they won't even know what happened. They won't have a clue of how it all happened, how we got the competitive edge or the competitive advantage over them. It begins with getting the job right for the right reasons. Anyone can go through the motions and just get the job done. I like to use analogies when I try to get a concept across. And one of the analogies I like to use is about golf. It's one of my favorite things to do. And if we went out to play golf, we could go through the motions and ultimately get through a round of golf. We can get the job done. But if we get them done right, if we do things right, we swing the club properly, we'll get the job done better. And if we do it for the right reasons, don't just do it right, but do it for the right reasons. This is the key to doing it best. In other words, we're selecting the right club to get the job done. I mean, imagine if you can only hit one club in your whole bag. You could do it right, but you're not doing it for the right reasons. You're not going to get the job done. Practice makes perfect is an old expression. But I used to have a football coach that said, you know, perfect practice is what really makes it perfect. If you can go out and practice doing it the wrong way, you're just going to learn to do it the wrong way. And you'll get really good at doing it the wrong way. You'll form the habit of doing it the wrong way. So if we're going to practice something, we want to practice doing it perfectly. The better you are at something, the easier it looks. You ever notice that? The better somebody is at doing anything, whether it's golf is a prime example. Those pro golfers, they make it look so easy. Okay, amateurs appear to expend a great deal of effort and get limited results. Again, using golf as an example, the amateurs are out there really struggling, and they're getting limited results, whereas the professionals appear to effortlessly achieve great results. If you learn to do it right, you can have effortless power versus powerless effort. Great companies have a passion for excellence. Routines don't have to be routine. One of the things I hear about procedures is, oh geez, if I use this procedure, it's going to sound monotonous. If I answer the phone the same way every time, it's going to sound like a recording. Well, that's to you. Imagine a Broadway play. If the actors and actresses didn't get all pumped up before each play, realizing that that audience has never seen it before. It's fresh to the audience. So that routine that you think is so routine is fresh to your customer, and you need to deliver it in a fresh way every time. Your routines do not have to be routine. Amateurs go through the motions and get mediocre results. They just kind of routinely go through it. Whereas professionals have passion. They strive for perfection and they perform with consistency to achieve greatness. That's what separates your stage actors that are great from the stage actors that are out there just for a short time and their careers are short-lived. The key is their passion for excellence. That's what really separates them from the rest. What separates good teams from great teams? Well, it's knowing what needs to be done. That's what needs to be done. It's knowing how it needs to be done. It's knowing why it needs to be done. If we don't know what, how, and why, We're going to be clueless. But once you have that, you need to do it right. You need to do it right for the right reasons, and do it consistently, and do it with passion. Great teams do all these things. They're doing the right things in the right ways for the right reasons, and they're doing it all when nobody's looking. The 3 keys to greatness. Be the best at something that's important to your customers. I have to emphasize it. What's important to your customers? You can be the best at some aspect of your business, but if it isn't something that's important to your customer, what good is it? It's important to you, and that isn't going to bring customers to the door. You need to answer this question. We're the best at providing our customers with. Fill in the blank. We have a client that we're going to be using sort of as a model for this session who's filled the blank in with, we're the best at providing our customers with hassle-free auto care experience. We're the best at providing our customers with a hassle-free auto care experience. Pretty simple. But there's other things. You could hang your hat on something else. Okay? But for the sake of this session, we're going to be assuming that that's our objective. We're going to constantly seek to improve in ways to do what? To provide our customer with a hassle-free auto care experience. We don't want to settle for good enough. We want to keep raising the bar, setting new standards. And if we keep raising that bar and setting new standards, not for our competitors, I mean, obviously they're going to be affected by it, but we're setting new standards for ourselves, always looking to improve. We want to be passionate about doing it. If we aren't passionate about doing it, there's no sense in raising the bar. We'll just start seeing everyone running under the bar instead. It's easier than trying to go over it. Passionately pursue excellence in the big things and in the little things, and settle for nothing less. You need to be committed to that. Perfect practice makes perfect. Nobody can go back and make a brand new start, but anybody can start now and make a brand new ending. Hopefully today's workshop will mark a new beginning for you and your company. Let's see what we have to do. First of all, let's recognize that people aren't real thrilled about having to take their cars in to get them worked on. And we've actually narrowed it down to there's basically 6 hassles that everyone hates about car repairs. And today we're going to look at how one of our clients has eliminated or works at eliminating these problems in his business. Hassle number 1, loss of mobility. Being without a car is the number 1 hassle that people give for not getting their car worked on. This is the main reason people procrastinate about car repairs. I know a fellow that has been driving around with a problem with his car that's under warranty. He knows he can get it fixed for free. But he's been driving around with this problem because he doesn't want to be hassled or inconvenienced without having his car. He doesn't want to be without his car. So even free repairs are a hassle. Here's some things you might do about it. Get them back on the road quickly. I mean, that's pretty much goes without saying. That should be our objective all the time. Provide free transportation. Doesn't mean a free car necessarily, but transportation to work, a shuttle service. If you don't have a shuttle, I mean, frankly, maybe a taxi. But some way of promoting that you're going to provide free transportation to this customer. Offer a free loaner car or a rental car if repairs are going to take more than a day. Of course, this would be subject, if you're going to rent a car to somebody, subject to them meeting your rental car company's criteria. And if you're going to use a loaner car, you'd want to have some sort of insurance and criteria and a form that they would sign. But that's something you can take up with your insurance agent. Hassle 2. Customers think it's going to take too long. They don't want to wait days to get an appointment. that's one thing I've heard from people is that they'll call a shop and they'll want to get their car in to get it worked on, and the shop will say, well, we're booked up for the rest of this week, can you bring it next week? Well, that's making them wait for an appointment. Statistically, or based on surveys, it's been shown that when a person finally gets around to making that call to take their car in, they're ready to do it now. They don't want to be put off. At least offer appointments within 24 hours. They don't like waiting for the work to get finished either. So, what do we do about this? I mean, it's going to take some time, right? Well, here's what we can do. One, offer a same-day appointment when they call. That creates sort of a sense of urgency. That gets the ball rolling. That conveys to the customer that they're not waiting. It doesn't mean you have to get the work done the same day. It just means you get them in the same day. Then you want to provide quick and accurate diagnosis. The idea of quick is let's get to the bottom of it as quickly as we can so we can have some idea how much time it's going to take. And the accurate diagnosis is going to allow you to give them a reasonable expectation as to how long it will take. And then give them a guaranteed time of completion. Now that guarantee can be backed up by any number of things. If it's a more complicated repair and you're going to need the car for a few days, maybe the guarantee is if we don't have your car ready for you by such and such a day at such and such a time, we'll offer you some form of a discount. Or it might be in the form of we'll provide you with a free rental car. You can be creative in how you're going to make good on that guarantee, but that's something you can promise to the customer that's tangible, that they can get their teeth into. Do whatever it takes to get them back on the road ASAP, as soon as possible. You know, if you don't have this as your objective to get them back on the road as soon as possible, then it seems as though the work kind of expands to fill the time, and the time can get longer and stretched. So make this a priority in your shop with your team. Hassle number 3 is not knowing the what or the why. What we're referring to here is that they don't understand the diagnostic process. They don't understand what it is that you're going to do or why you're going to do it. They don't understand what needs to be done in this diagnostic process or in the repair process once the diagnosis is completed. Nobody ever seems to take the time to explain these things to them. They don't understand why things need to be done. And they don't understand what was done when they come pick up the car. All they do is they get an invoice that's treated as little more than a receipt, and with little or no explanation, they pay for it and they leave. There should be a better explanation than that. So what you must do about this to overcome these problems? Always explain the process first. Let them know right up front, this is what we need to do, this is what we're going to do, and why we're going to do it. Explain what needs to be done. Explain why it needs to be done. And then, when they come pick up their car, re-explain everything that was done. You can go all the way back to, Mr. Customer, when you brought your car in, this was what your concern was, this is what we told you, we did a diagnostic check, this is what we found, we recommended these repairs, you authorized those repairs, we've done them, it comes with this warranty, here's basically, in a nutshell, everything that happened. So you re-explain everything that was done and why. Hassle number 4, paying too much. You know, the irony is everyone, when they call on the phone, asks that question, how much is it going to be, because they're afraid they're going to pay too much. Well, it's one of the hassles. They got to pay. Nobody wants car repairs. I mean, nobody gets up in the morning and says, boy, what a great day to get my car worked on. Now, there are things with cars that maybe people do look forward to, you know, customizing features, new sound systems, things like this. They're fun things with a car, but for the most part, when it comes to repairs and maintenance, nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do it, and therefore, any amount of money for this type of thing is too much money. So paying too much is kind of a moot point when it comes down to it, because any amount's too much. They really, what they have is this fear of paying for things that they didn't need to buy or things that aren't going to fix their problem. We've all had that experience where we've gone in and we've got one part of the car fixed, and sure enough, the problem I came in for is still there, or it's only partially gone. And that's one of the fears people have, and that kind of equates to paying too much. They have this fear of not getting value. That's really the bottom line. If they're getting value, or if they sense they have value, then that fear of paying too much or the hassle of paying too much goes away. So what can you do about it? Well, we provide an accurate diagnosis that assures that we're going to offer the correct repair. We're going to recommend the right service for the job. We're going to give an accurate labor quote, at least a labor quote. If you can do a parts and labor quote, great. But at least quote accurate labor prices before the work even begins. And we're going to offer them repair options or choices of different types of repairs to solve the problem. And of course, different prices will go with that. So they'll have different repair parts and labor configurations, different prices, and even different warranties to go along with that. Hassle number 5. The estimate always goes up. You know, customers dread that phone call from the shop. It's coming. The car's not going to be ready till 5 o'clock, but at noon, there's the shop on the phone. The customers dread it. They roll their eyes. They just know what's going to happen here. The shop's going to tell them it's going to take longer, they're going to need more parts, and the price is going up. They dread that. Estimates, therefore, are really nothing more than guesstimates when they go to most shops. And even worse than getting the phone call is what's called the 5 o'clock surprise. I go in at 5 o'clock to pick up my car, and the bill's more than they told me it was going to be. Oh yeah, we ran into this problem. Oh yeah, we ran into that problem. Oh, the part that we were going to get, they gave us a different price, and when it got here, it was more. The 5 o'clock surprise. Now, of course, in a lot of states, there's laws that protect consumers against having that happen to them, but a lot of states will allow for this, what I call a 10% fudge factor. I think you're better off to not even deal with that. Once you give that price, make it firm. Don't even take advantage of those situations. So what you should do about it to address this hassle, number 1, don't guess. Quote prices. Make them firm. Once the labor is quoted for a particular job, it's guaranteed not to go up. Now let me clarify that. Once you've quoted the labor for a particular job, let's say a customer came in for a brake job, and you quoted them the price for the brake job, and you told them what was included in it. And then you get into it, and it turns out to be more than just a brake job. Maybe it needs new rotors, and it needs calipers, or the whole system needs to be flushed. Those are additional jobs, but you hold firm on the brake job quote. Okay? If an unexpected problem comes up, stand by the quote. Now, I'm not talking about an additional problem, but I'm talking about here, let's say you gave someone a labor quote to change an exhaust manifold gasket. And in the process of putting this exhaust manifold back on, one of the guys cross-threaded a bolt. Well, you know, that's a problem. It's going to take some more time, but eat it. Don't go back to the customer and tell them about that. I mean, you quoted the job for replacing this exhaust manifold gasket. If you didn't allow a little extra fudge room there for bolt problems on exhaust manifold, that's your problem. So quote the price. If you need to put a little fudge factor in there to protect yourself, go ahead, but stand by the price. Don't be calling back for every little thing that you run across. Hassle 6, having to pay again and again. Feeling hassled when using the guarantee is one of the most common complaints that come to consumer protection agencies like Attorneys General or the Better Business Bureau. Customers that go back to get warranty work or guarantee work done will complain when they aren't treated right, or if the warranty is not honored. And that's one of the most common complaints registered against the auto repair industry, and probably in a lot of other industries as well. Having to pay because of some loophole in the warranty. That's one of their fears, and it's a hassle. You know, you start reading through the warranty. Oh, you know what? You were supposed to have come back and gotten this little fluid change done, and you didn't get it done, so I'm sorry, your warranty is void. Well, a lot of times I've seen people use that little clause to get out of a warranty, and the person hasn't really even gone as many miles as what was required. You know, they've passed it maybe in time, but not in miles, or maybe they passed it in miles, but not in time. But to hang your hat on some little loophole to get out of a warranty, that's only creating hassles for customers. Having to go to the back of the line when I come in for warranty repairs, that's another hassle. Customers always feel like that's going to happen, whether it really happens or not. They feel like that's what's going to happen. And in reality, a lot of shops say, hey, that's not a paying job. They're going to the back of the line and we'll get around to it eventually. You know what? That customer already paid. That customer already paid for something that was supposed to last, and it didn't. It's kind of like a magazine subscription. If you bought a 12-month magazine subscription and they stopped coming in 6 months, you'd be upset. If someone gets a 12-month warranty and the car stops working in 6 months, they have 6 months more of that subscription going. You better get it going for them again. So what should you do about it? Provide a hassle-free written warranty. Hassle-free. If the work fails to perform to the customer's satisfaction, fix it for free. And if the warranty work the warranty work should always go to the head of the line. Make warranty repairs a priority in your shop. Here's a sample of a customer service pledge. It's similar to the one that this particular client uses as well. We promise to, and we're going to go through a list of things here. We promise to do our best to provide a hassle-free auto service experience. We promise to treat you courteously and professionally with integrity and with respect. We promise to keep you informed by explaining what we will be doing and why. We promise to always advise you of any changes before we begin any work on your vehicle. We promise to never do any work or incur any charges without your prior approval. And we promise to get you back on the road as quickly as possible by promptly completing the work and providing substitute transportation if you need it. We promise to keep our promises for completion times and price quotes. And we promise to proudly stand behind our work with our hassle-free nationwide warranty. Now, that's quite a pledge. He actually posts it on the wall. That's what I call having the customer hold their feet to the fire. But your customers can get their teeth into this. These are things that are tangible that they can feel and measure. So let's check in on your beliefs. Do you see that any company that could deliver on a pledge like that one is clearly a great company? I mean, making the claim's one thing, but delivering on it is the key. If a company could deliver on that pledge, do they have the makings of being a great company? I think so. Can you see how this would bring in better customers? You'd have better customers coming into your shop with higher sales due to the greater perceived value. There's a greater value in this as well. Can you see how this would create great word-of-mouth advertising and referrals? Customers would buzz about it. They'd tell their friends about it. Do you believe you could deliver the goods? Could you do it? Could you make good on this pledge? Can you commit to the spirit of the hassle-free auto service pledge? Brian Tracy, one of the great sales trainers, once said, "The outer limit of your potential is determined solely by your own beliefs and your own confidence in what you think is possible. That's an important concept. Think about that. Henry Ford said something very similar once. He says, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. It's all up here. It takes more than great systems and procedures to deliver on this pledge, though. It takes more than that. You need to have a great facility. Your facility needs to be clean and inviting and well-equipped and well-lit. You need nice signs of fresh appearance, fresh paint, nice scents, have a sort of a air freshener or an air purifier running in the waiting room where the customers come in. Nice displays. I like to see waiting rooms for customers that look more like living rooms. Doesn't have a lot of auto repair paraphernalia in it. Brochures and stuff are nicely displayed, but you have on the walls, you don't have posters of how to fix cars. That you have more like pictures that you might see in your house. Magazines, not hot rod magazines, not car repair magazines, not even news magazines. Nice benign magazines that people will enjoy reading, like Reader's Digest, Better Homes and Gardens, People magazine. Another great idea, and something that I found that people love to read through, are catalogs. Even the airlines have noticed this. They put a catalog in the seat back pocket. Great catalogs, like the Sharper Image catalogs and Bed Bath & Beyond for the ladies and things like this. Catalogs are the things that I notice in our waiting rooms that people pick up first. So, and you get them for free. That's the beauty. They come in your mailbox, and otherwise you'd just be throwing them away. Bring them down, put them in your waiting room. Professional staff with clean uniforms. I'm amazed at how many shops don't have uniforms for their technicians, and at least a clean change every day. Make sure the people are clean too, and that they have professional tools, that they're friendly, they're courteous, they're helpful. You know, and don't be afraid to tell them if they don't smell so great. I mean, people get close to people, and it's not pleasant sometimes. Great attitudes. We need to be accommodating. We need to offer accommodations. We need a warm, friendly, hospitable environment. And more important than any of those things is you need what I call a you bet, yes we can spirit. A you bet, yes we can spirit. If you say, you bet, we'll get that done for you, there's some sort of a sense of confidence that it's really going to happen that is conveyed with that message. Richard Scott once said, to reach a goal never before attained, you must do things that you've never before done. To reach a goal never before attained, you must do things you've never before done. Pretty profound statement, but if you think about it, how are we going to get up here if we never walked the path to get there? Here's what we have to do. I call this the satisfaction index line. And what we need to do is we need to take a customer or caller, call him a stranger, someone who's never done business with us before, had no business or no reason to choose us over any other business initially. We just did a great job maybe on the phone to get him to come in. And we need to take this stranger and we need to turn them into a customer for life. And we have a very short period of time, whatever length of time it takes, to meet with this customer and deal with them through the process of doing this initial car repair and do a good enough job to make them into a customer for life. The problem is that most of the time, our industry, and probably you right now, perform on this line in what I call the area of indifference. In other words, you don't exceed their expectations in any special way. You don't fall short of their expectations in any special way either. You basically have just done what they expected. You fixed their car. And you did it in the same fashion as any other place that they went to in their past or that they ever expect to go to in the future. You don't stand out. Now, if you could exceed their expectations and exceed them abundantly. You could turn them into raving fans. There's a book written by Ken Blanchard and Spencer Johnson called Raving Fans. And it's a great book. I'd encourage you to read it. And it talks about how to turn strangers into raving fans of your business. Now, if you don't meet their expectations, if you fall short of their expectations, they're going to be terrorists. They're going to go around spreading bad words. Now, it's easy to fall into the area of indifference. You have to go out of your way to do so bad that they turn into terrorists, or so good that they turn into raving fans. So the whole thing is about exceeding their expectations. Here are the cruel facts of who we have to deal with and the circumstances in which we have to do business. Customers don't want to sell, customers don't want what we sell. They don't want car repairs of any kind. To them, car repairs are a hassle. We can give them away, as I've said before, and it's still a hassle. They don't want them. Second, customers don't trust our industry. They are afraid they're going to get ripped off, frankly. Third, customers are scared. They're scared because they don't know or they don't understand the technical side of their cars. Frankly, cars are getting so technical that a lot of technicians don't even understand them. So there's no way on earth our customers could be expected to have a great understanding of their cars. So don't assume they know a lot about their cars. Take time with them. Customers don't know the difference between fraud and an honest mistake. Frankly, I call it, they don't know the difference between fraud and incompetence. And I don't mean incompetence in a bad way. I mean it's an honest mistake. I made a technical blunder. I made an error in judgment. I certainly wasn't perpetrating fraud. But if the customer gets their car, they pay their bill, and they start driving and they have a problem similar to, the same as, or something new, they right away jump to the conclusion that you ripped them off, that you perpetrated fraud, and it was just a mistake. So the better job we do, the less likely they are to jump to that conclusion. Customers think it's going to cost too much. Going in, they already expect it to cost too much. And that's based on the fact that any amount is already too much. Customers think it's going to take too long. And again, any amount of time to be without your car is too long. This is how we do it here. This is an overview of our procedures that we use to address these concerns. First, we have a telephone procedure. The objective of the telephone procedure is get the car into the center. Nothing else. Get the car into the center. We cover that in our next in our series called Ring Ring. And there's some great ways of getting customers into the center. Then we do meet and greet. This is where the customer first walks through the door and we check them in. There's a specific procedure. Things that we want to accomplish during this meet and greet time. Next, we're going to offer some form of a free pre-check. Maybe it's just a test drive, some quick visual checks under the hood. I'm not talking about hooking up electrical scanning tools or putting any tools to the car at all, but a free pre-check to confirm certain things. We have a specific procedure and certain things that we want to accomplish in this pre-check. Next, we'll sell our knowledge. We have fee-based diagnostic tests that we will actually, from time to time, recommend as it's appropriate. Next, we'll sell teardowns and inspections when necessary for major components to determine what's wrong and what needs to be done, why it needs to be done, what the cause of the failure is, and frankly, get down to the bottom line, what price alternatives we might offer the customer. Next, we're going to sell choices, different repairs with different warranties. Let the customer have some choices here. Don't have them feel like they've been backed into a corner. And when they have choices, they'll be happier about doing business with you. The car delivery procedure, which I talked about earlier, about the way we give the customer the car back. There's a specific procedure to do that, to encourage this concept of customers for life. And then the after delivery stuff, how we handle comebacks, how we stay in touch with the customer, the types of things we might mail to that customer. All of these things will help build customers for life. Now, the Service Writers Workshop is different than most. I've taught service writer training for years, since back in 1992. And this one is definitely different. Here's how it's different. It's not a how to do it workshop. I recognize that you each have your own personal sales and management styles, and you're going to couple those skills and those styles with what you learn in the Service Writer Workshop series in order to create a package that's unique to you. You are who you are, and you'll need to say the words the way that you're most comfortable saying it. Another way to look at it is, we're going to teach you sort of how to hum the tune, but you're going to put your own words to the music. It's more of a what to do to be great workshop series. What are the things that you need to accomplish? We're going to emphasize the purpose of each step of the procedure. We're going to put emphasis on the key points that you need to accomplish in each of these steps. And we're going to clearly define for you what I call the defining moments of each step are, the little things that make the difference, the little things that are going to set you apart, the defining moments. And we're also going to look at why it's important to do the step. Don't be skipping steps. And then, of course, the benefits of doing each step. And there's benefits to everybody. There's benefits to the business. There's benefits to the team. There's benefits to you as a service writer. There's benefits to the customer. It kind of answers the question, what's in it for me? What are the benefits of doing these steps? So, in a way of a recap, what separates good teams from great teams? Knowing what needs to be done, knowing how it needs to be done, knowing why it needs to be done, doing it right for the right reasons, doing it consistently, and doing it with passion. Remember, doing the right things in the right ways for the right reasons, even when nobody is looking, is what separates good teams from great teams. Your three keys to success. Be the best at something that's important to your customers. We're the best at providing our customers with, and as one of our clients has said, hassle-free auto service. Constantly seek to improve. Do not settle for good enough. Keep raising the bar to set new standards. Be passionate about doing it. Passionately pursue excellence in the big things, and in many ways, more important, the little things, and settle for nothing less. Remember, perfect practice makes perfect. So what's next? The Service Writers Workshop Part 2. Ring Ring, converting telephone shoppers into appointments. I encourage you to go ahead and watch that next one in our series. And then after that, the Service Writers Workshop Part 3. That takes you from the greeting of the customer when they walk through the door through selling the job. It covers things like the meet and greet, where you build instant rapport, the pre-check, the test drive, visual checks, selling knowledge, getting paid for diagnostics, selling teardown inspections, when and how, and then selling the jobs with choices, turning shoppers into buyers. And Part 3, the Service Writers Workshop, Part 4, is Customers for Life. And it talks about how having good records, good car delivery procedures, post-service follow-up procedures, and properly handling comebacks will lead to having customers for life. Thanks for attending the Service Writers Workshop today, getting your company, your team, and yourself ready for greatness.